Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today I'm writing to Why does Advaita call this world false? What good does it do? God alone is, all else is not. That would be I say that would be an interesting question for me. What good does it do? Um, I guess because I guess it's a matter of the way you think about things. For me, calling this world false doesn't really do anything. The world How do I say this? The world still exists to a sense. I say this in terms of Advaita Vedanta. It exists in a sense that if you don't eat, you will die. Your body will die. You can harm other people, um, and a lot of other things that will happen in this world. But um, so it doesn't. For me, it doesn't really do any good to say that to say this world is false. It doesn't really help. But perhaps if it gets the point across for people who are, say, I don't know, I guess that need that, well, who can think like that, I guess, that this world is false. It To me that can be a little bit dangerous in terms of some sense, because if it's false, that means you can do anything you want because it's not real. It's kind of like playing a video game. The video game itself is not real, and yet you see a lot of people in video games harming, like Grand Theft Auto, I suppose, is a great one because it's like a real world where there's stuff going on in the world, and you see people running over people and all that kind of stuff. That world isn't real. There's no consequences in that world. It's all fake. If we start saying it that way, a lot of people will look at this world that way. That's the reason why I don't like to call this world fake or not real. I like to believe it to be real. But when you call this world real, that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't be enlightened. I don't know, it's a little bit difficult to explain. But I'm curious as to what he has to say about this. This is a really good question, at least in my perspective. So let's go and get started.
Swamiji, the only question that after understanding everything, and I think I don't have a question, but I always get stuck on the concept of mithya world. This world is mithya. And I think 99% of all of us get stuck in that concept because we're living in it. The part that confuses me, the same mithya world that gave us Ramakrishna, Vivekananda, Krishna, Arama, they came as incarnation, and they promised that they will come in this waking world and guide us time and time again. Same waking world is degraded to being mithya, and it is not real. But the same waking world is the karma bhumi, that is the place of action, and that's where our path is given. This path for different people, different path.
Hold on, I don't know what the I forget, karma buddhi is? Is that, like, I guess where karma is generated and made, maybe?
And that's where whoever comes and chooses the path and reaches salvation. So this is as real as, and also at the same time mithya, meaning it confuses many times.
I think I see your meaning. Why do we call this world false? What good does it do? And how is it false? These are the questions. And this is in the very world in which you are discussing Advaita Vedanta. This is the very world in saints and incarnations have come. And this is all that we know. Right? So the straight answer to your question is you don't have to take it as mithya. Remember, mithya, falsity. Falsity is a part of the doctrine of Advaita Vedanta. But that's just one approach among many approaches. You need not take it as false. You can take it as real as everybody else takes it. You don't have to worry about it. So that's one approach.
Oh, I mean, I'd hate to say that there is, in a sense, many truths out there or many realities. I don't necessarily like that. I like the many paths, absolutely. But to say that you can choose any reality that you want is a bit different. Believing in God doesn't change the reality of Brahman Atman. doing good deeds, karma, doesn't change the fact of the reality. Jnana, Raja Yoga, Kundalini Yoga, all these things doesn't change the underlying reality. But to say you can choose the world to be false or choose the world to be real, it, both can't be true. Either the world is false or the world is real. Um, I guess the reason why I fight for it to be real is because Brahman is. It may be a quote unquote illusion, but this illusion is real. It's kind of like. I wonder if a video game would be the best way to explain it, too. It's really weird to explain it that way. I guess that would be the best example, and maybe me explaining this may help me understand it a little bit better, but I don't know. I have to think about this, and I don't want to do too much thinking in reaction videos.
If you do that, however, what will happen is, if this world is real, in what sense real means? Out there, I see a chair. What's it? It's a chair. I see a man, a woman. What's it? Man, woman. A world. Everything is real out there as I see it. What's wrong with that? Nothing. In that case, what you are going to talk about, what you are going to seek, God, the impersonal reality, Brahman, it must be something other than this world. You say, no, it can be this world itself. If it is this world itself, then why call it religion? You become a materialist. You're chasing the world. Notice, if you take this world as it is, then your God becomes a separate God. Because then, are you trying to attain a chair or a table or a man or a woman or money, pleasure? What are you trying to attain? That's all that the world can give you. This is the world, then God becomes a separate reality. And no problem there. That is dualistic approach. If God becomes a separate reality apart from you, apart from the world, then you have to set up a relationship with God. God is the father. Or for Sri Ramakrishna, God is the mother. For Arjuna, God is the friend. For Yashoda or Mother Mary, God is the child. For Radha, God is the beloved. Relationship, bhakti. So that is the dualistic approach. No problem there. Or you could have that it is real and it's all God also. That also is possible. There is one infinite divinity, and this is also all divine, and this divine, this is included in that infinite divinity, and we have to realize that this is divine. Somehow or the other, is all pervaded by divinity.
That is perhaps, so far before I explain, is my approach to this. I'll rewind.
Infinite divinity, and we have to realize that this is divine. Somehow or the other, is all pervaded by divinity. God alone is all of this. You can also do that. That is called Vishishta Advaita.
I guess I need to mark 4 p.m. 4.
These are all vast, sophisticated philosophical systems. Qualified monism. Or you can say, God alone exists. The whole thing is an appearance in God. Appearance is, another name for appearance is mithya or falsity. Notice, in which of the three systems is God given maximum importance? In the third one. In the first one, world is there, I am there, and there is something else called God. No matter how important, how beautiful, whatever, but still quite different from the world and from me. And God is reduced by that much. Second one, God is there, but we have God has distinct parts like people and things and all. Third one, God alone is, nothing else is, all appears in God.
That's the weird thing. I don't see the second and third one separate, because the same thing is God alone exists, just because he's in different parts. I mean, if it exists, it is God. Therefore, there's no separation between existence and God. I don't see how it's distinction between the second and the third one is explaining. Then we'll rewind a little bit.
Third one, God alone is, nothing else is, all appears in God. Swami Vivekananda says, when Mary Hale wrote to him, I have understood what you have taught. God is everything, or everything is God. Swami Vivekananda said, I have never taught such strange doctrine. And she was taken aback. She said, you say these things.
Real quick, actually, that's what I said some time ago about everything is God, and I remember someone commented, "It's like, no, not quite right. God is." And I was like, "What's the difference?" Kind of. I mean, maybe that is the difference between the second and third one, but I still don't see necessarily a difference. I guess I did think about this actually before watching this video. Whenever I said, "What?" Oh, God alone is, all else is not. I thought about that, and the fact that it seems like everything exists and then God's part of it, as opposed God is and then everything is a part of God. You know, it's just like it looks reverse, but it's how do I say this? They sound very similar, but are different. I guess that's the best way to put it. It's not quite the right phrasing. I think it's the better way to put it. But they're trying to say about the same thing, but not quite there. I think that's the right way to say it.
And Swami Vivekananda, he says, what I meant was, see, I might have said it. I mean, many times he says God is everything. But I might have said it, but what he says, what I meant was, God alone is, everything is not. That is Advaita Vedanta. Now, what good does it do? Twofold good. One is apparent, and one is at the surface, one is the deep application. In spiritual life, what does it do for us? There is a philosophical side to falsity, where by argument you try to show the falsity of the world. It's a difficult job because it seems very real to us. You know, one thing, why does it seem very real to us? Because when we say what is the world is which is false, when you tell people like that, what they normally take is, here, this world, and they're telling us this is false. It's like snake appearing as rope appearing as snake. And you say the snake is false. But what it does not mean that there's nothing there. There is something there. There's a rope there. Similarly, when the Advaitin says this world is false, it doesn't mean the normal way people take it, the usual way. Immediately people think they are dismissing everything. But then I'm left with nothing. I don't know anything else. But no. When you dismiss this, you are throwing away the baby with the bathwater. The reality is here. Where you see the snake, there you see the rope. Where you are seeing world and people and body and mind, there the enlightened one is seeing Brahman, God, divinity, existence, consciousness, bliss. I'm using the word God in a very general sense, in a very philosophical sense. So this is the deep meaning of the falsity of the world. What is the meaning of the falsity of the world? If the world is false, there must be a truth. What is that truth? You can't just have falsity. If somebody tells a lie, hey, that's false, that means there's a truth. There's a truth. So what's the truth? If the world is false, what's the truth? Brahman is the truth. Where will you find the truth? Where you are seeing falsity. Where will you find the rope? Where you are seeing snake. Shankaracharya gives a succinct definition, very powerful statement. Atasmin tad buddhi. What is not there, you see there. Snake is not there, you see a snake. That snake is false, but the reality is right there. That's a rope. You're seeing world and people and good and bad. The reality is right there. It's God. It exists, existence, consciousness, bliss. One unlimited existence. So, this is the deep meaning of falsity of the world. What the advantage is, it is giving you direct access to reality. By saying what you are seeing is not as it should be, then what as it should be, the reality is right there, right now. And in fact, it's you. When I say I see myself as this little person, that's false. You are Brahman. So what you are seeing as I, what I am seeing as I, me, myself, Sarva Priyananda, Advaita says, please investigate this itself, your favorite subject, yourself. Investigate this. What can be more interesting to you than yourself? Please investigate this. You will find God. Sri Ramakrishna's words in Bengali, Manush nije ke chinte parle, Ishwar ke chinte pare. When the human being realizes who he or she is, he finds God. So this is, you say, oh, this is great, this is Advaita Vedanta. Yes, but this is predicated upon the falsity of the world. If the world is not false, then this God you have to look elsewhere. For God. What is the secondary benefit of it? The secondary benefit is we are very attached to the world. And that's what's stopping us. You see, it's not philosophy which is stopping us. The philosophy of Advaita Vedanta is not difficult to understand. Swami Vivekananda says, many people come to an understanding, few realize on this path. So there's a difference between just understanding it and realizing it. And how do I know whether I've understood or realized it? You just check the benefits. It's supposed to take you beyond sorrow. It's supposed to give you fulfillment. Are you honestly, truly beyond sorrow? Are you honestly, truly fulfilled? If you say no, if we say not really, and then it might be understanding, but it's certainly not realization.
I think I'm there. Understanding, but not realization.
So this attachment to the world, this desire is at the root of all spiritual problems. And this falsity, doctrine of falsity, it cuts at the very root of that desire. Everybody knows that the world is temporary. Even this Q&A session is temporary. Don't worry. People will be like, how long is he going to go on? It's temporary. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. But that does not remove our attachment to the world. I know the cookie is temporary. Who cares? Who wants an eternal cookie anyway? I want a temporary cookie and I want to enjoy it. I know the movie is temporary. Great. I don't want an endless movie. I want to enjoy this temporary movie, this temporary cookie. I know life is temporary. Things in life are impermanent. That does not does not shake our desire for the world. But notice, the moment we clearly, honestly believe this world to be an appearance, your desire immediately disappears. Fear also disappears. Fear and desire, terror and temptation, they are predicated on supposing something to be real. Notice in the dreams, we are scared in the dreams. We are terrified or tempted in the dreams as long as we dream. When we wake up, we still remember what we saw. But we are not scared anymore. We are not terrified anymore. Why? Because the falsity has been proved. Notice a movie, horror movie, tragedy. In a horror movie, we can enjoy it, but you're not really horrified by it. A tragedy, it does not traumatize you for life. You can cry in the movie and still have aesthetic enjoyment. Why? Because falsity is proved. If it was real, I always give this example of King Kong, the great gorilla who seems to attack New York. So you can enjoy King Kong climbing the Empire State Building, huge gorilla. And people can clap and cheer and enjoy it and ooh and ah. But if a actual little monkey came into the movie theater, they would all evacuate the theater. They'll all run screaming out of the theater. Why? What's the difference between King Kong, the giant King Kong, and the little monkey? Giant King Kong is taken to be false appearance, not a source of real terror. Even the terror that it evokes is a delicious thrill. So that's the benefit, spiritual benefit of falsity of the world.
Saying, enjoying the thrill of it. There are people out there who are thrill seekers. Whenever he said it made me think of people who skydive, who go to these cliff edges and they jump down with a squirrel. I think they call it a squirrel suit or a flying squirrel suit. It's a flying suit, and you know, I don't know if you've seen the YouTube videos where you see them flying like they're like 60 feet or 20 feet above like tree lines, and they're flying down mountains. And you see them going to like a mountain with a hole in it, and they go flying through that. One mistake, and they're a splatter on the mountainside. Or, you know, they fly so low if they don't keep their elevation, it could hit trees and stuff. There's actually there was one video actually that just showed someone actually the parachute got tangled up. He got lucky to some degree that I think that the mountain caught the parachute, because otherwise he's just tumbling down because even the backup chute got tangled up too. And he got that all on recording too. See that on YouTube. He was fine, I think. Obviously he's fine because the video was uploaded to YouTube. So, but yeah, I mean, are these people enlightened? But they're thrill seekers. I mean, because they just want a piece of that excitement as something enjoyable.
But yet, again, as I say, you don't have to take it as false. There are paths. There are different paths. And by the way, it might surprise you. In Hindu philosophy, the only system which takes the world to be false is Advaita Vedanta. Nyaya takes the world to be real. Vaisheshika takes the world to be real. Um, Sankhya takes the world to be real. Yoga, Patanjali's yoga takes the world to be real. Purva Mimamsa takes the world to be real. It's only in Vedanta, that too Advaita Vedanta, which takes the world to be unreal or an appearance. The other Vedanta systems, the dualistic system, qualified monistic, even Shuddhadvaita, Dvaitadvaita, all these systems, they all take the world to be real. The world to be an appearance and consciousness alone to be real, that's Advaita Vedanta. But it has a lot in common with multiple systems in Buddhism. That's why Advaitins were always charged by other Hindus. Are you guys really Hindus or you're Buddhists? So Shankara was attacked. Prachanna Buddha. And you are crypto-Buddhists, hidden Buddhists. There is an attack by the dualists. So sometimes there's a pejorative term, Mayavadi. You are teachers of Maya, the illusion of the world. That's what you talk about. So we become defensive. We say, no, Brahmavadinah vayam. We are teachers of Brahman, the absolute reality. Then the dualists come back with this response. Vayamapi Brahmavadina ko vishesha. We are also teachers of the way of Brahman. What is the uniqueness of your teaching? The uniqueness of your teaching, that means the non-dualist teaching, is the falsity of the world, is it not? And we have to say, yes, that's so. So the uniqueness of your teaching is Maya, yes. And that Maya is mithya, false. So you are Mayavadis. Well, in that sense, maybe. So you are Mithyavadis. You're teachers of falsity. You are false teachers. All right, thank you.
I mean, I guess that does make kind of sense because they're teaching that the world itself is false. So you're, and the fact that if the world is false, then you yourself is false, or the teacher is false itself. It tracks. It's kind of funny. Also, I want to go back to the 4 real quick. I wonder if this is maybe more me, Vishista Dvaita. Well, I definitely need to see a comparison between these two. I need to probably look up videos, this one versus Advaita Vedanta itself, because I don't like to look at the world as false. And maybe more examples and stuff, because it's like, it's not. He was explaining about the theater, which again goes to the fact that, when you watch a movie, you know it's not real. But the thing is, though, is that what's happening in that movie is actually happening in the world. So it's not like there's necessarily a separation. It's how do I explain that? When the movie example, what's the movie is the world itself, the real world. And then the people that are watching the movie, or the person watching the movie, is Brahman playing the movie. I think that's not a great example, but in a lot of sense, it's Brahman, or the pure consciousness, watching the movie. Everyone in the movie thinks it's real, but when we look at our pure consciousness, we know it's false. Like, it's not the perfect example, but you get the idea. It's essentially the consciousness is just watching the false world, in a lot of, I guess, in the sense. But the thing I don't like, I suppose, is the fact that, what's going on in the movie is real to the people in the movie. Whether the people outside thinks it's false or not. And I guess the thing is, it kind of imagine again, the best example I could give is Grand Theft Auto, where if we realize this life is false, and this is something I've said before too, that people say, oh, this world is false, it's fake, it's not real, so you can start doing crazy stuff, and there's a lot of extremism out there that, how do I say, because to believe so much into their own whatever it may be, their cults, their religion, their non-cults and non-religion, or whatever it may be, their extremism of whatever it is that they are, that they see no consequence in the world because what they believe they're doing is correct. Am I saying there's an extreme Advaita Vedanta? I don't know. Maybe. It's kind of. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't know. Like, let me know in the comments if is there someone out there who kind of went a bit extreme in terms of Advaita Vedanta. And what I mean by extreme is because if the only thing you ever know is that this false is, if this reality is false, and that you're already enlightened, and that you're God and you are the only reality, then one, you're already enlightened. Two, you are God. Three, this world is false. So the consequences doesn't matter in this world, and when you pass away, you become your ultimate form or something like that. I don't know. So that's the thing that I don't know. I guess maybe I need a bit more definition in terms of Advaita Vedanta. I mean, a bit more than what's explained here. So it seems like it's saying it's false, but not in that sense. It's like, well, I need a bit more. So I got to look at this one. I wonder if I can find videos that compares Visheshta Advaita versus Advaita Vedanta, and look at a deep comparison between the two, how they each view the world, and well, yeah, how they each view the world. That is kind of the thing. So, anyways, that's my reaction to what does Advaita call this world false? What good does it do? God alone is, all else is not. If you like my content, please consider subscribing, thumbs up the sound down below. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next vid.